Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be giving my match predictions for the FA Cup semi-finals, and I can't believe we are already at this stage of the latter stage of the competition, man. And I know people say that the FA Cup has lost its shine. It feels like it's not really a cup competition these days, which is very valued by the top sides, but I'm telling you, we've seen some amazing games, some amazing storylines. We saw Kidminster get so far into the competition when we know they're not even in League 2. We also saw Sleeping Giants and Middlesbrough and Nottingham Forest go to the quarterfinals of this competition. So we saw some amazing teams, some amazing storylines, like I said, and I'm telling you, it gave us so many thrills, so many entertainment, and so much joy. But that's all in the past now. We are focused on the last 4 teams in this competition, and I am so excited to see what happens in terms of the semi-finals of this cup competition. On one hand, we got Liverpool versus Manchester City, the 2 best teams not only in Europe, but in my opinion, like I said in my last video, in the world. And if we get anything close like we just saw in the last match between these 2 sides, tantalizing close, 2-2 thriller, even at Anfield when we saw them draw 2-2 as well, we are in for an amazing game. And on the other side, I know Chelsea versus Crystal Palace isn't star heavy with world-class players all over the pitch like Liverpool, Manchester City, but we know London derbies are fierce, and especially in the cup competition in the latter stages, it's going to be an intense game between Chelsea and Crystal Palace. So let's see who comes up on top. However, before I go in this video and give my match predictions, you know what I'm going to say. Make sure you guys like, comment, and hit that big subscribe button right there, because only 10% of you guys are actually subscribed to my channel. So please hit the subscribe button, and thank you everyone for helping me reach 1,000 subscribers. Thank you. Let's keep the channel growing, and thank you guys so much for that. So the first game I'm going to be predicting, it has to be this. It just has to. It's the box office event. It may as well be pay-per-view, the way we've been seeing in so many thrilling results between these 2 sides, Manchester City versus Liverpool. And like I said in my introduction, not only are these 2 the best teams in Europe, these 2 are the best 2 teams in the world. And the way they've been playing against each other, it's the best game on earth right now. The way these 2 teams play is spectacular. It's phenomenal. It's amazing. It's breathtaking. The way they literally stamp their authority on the game to go forward and progress with the ball. The way they hound the opposition with their work rate and the way they press the team is absolutely great to watch, man. And I think we're in for another spectacle between these 2 sides like we just saw against in the last game in the Etihad. And I know these games between these 2 sides are tantalizing close. It's so close to cool. It literally arrives at a coin flip because of the way these 2 sides been playing lately against each other. They've been drawing games, but we know when it comes to the FA Cup, it can't be a draw, can it? Because we need one team to advance into the final. So we actually have to make a decision. And it just feels like even if you pick a favourite going into this game, it feels like you're doing the other team a misjustice, because we know they're just as good as the other team. However, because the game is so close, we have 2 world-class teams with phenomenal players. I feel like it's going to fall onto the shoulders of the world-class managers between Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp. And in the last time these 2 faced off each other on Sunday, I felt like Pep Guardiola stumbled across something crucial with the tactics they deployed against Liverpool. It gave them so much joy. The fact that Pep Guardiola, I feel like, switched it up a little bit, played players with real pace, real intensity, real energy in the final third, with players like Foden, players like Sterling, and even a player like Jesus, who has been in and around the side, not really being a first team starter. That pace in behind threatened and frightened me as a Liverpool fan and the Liverpool players. We saw Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson found it so hard to keep tracking back, because obviously in the Liverpool system they start up so high. So when you have Sterling and even Jesus cheating, obviously running in behind, it's going to be so hard for someone like Trent or Robertson to get back in a defensive position to stop the attacks from going through. So I feel like, will Pep Guardiola repeat the same sort of method? Because it gave them so much joy, and it felt like Manchester City's balance in the terms of the midfield was there, because players in the front 3 didn't always want ball to feet. They were willing to be that runner in behind to really hurt Liverpool's high line, because we know Jurgen Klopp loves to stamp his authority on the game and likes to seem to be as far up on the pitch as possible. So going in this game, will Pep Guardiola repeat this? It gave them so much success, but it'll be interesting to see if he's going to tweak it, because with Pep Guardiola, we never know what he's going to do in a crucial match. We saw it in the Champions League, we've seen it in key Premier League games. He loves to tinker with it, even when it looks like the answer is so straightforward. However, I just feel like this is the perfect formation, this is the perfect setup, because the last time these 2 faced off, Manchester City were the better side, and if their finishing was up to scratch, they would have won that game easily against Liverpool. The fact that they left meat on the table for Liverpool to clean up, that's the only reason why Liverpool were able to get a point within that game. So let's see if Pep Guardiola will stick with this formation, stick with these tactics, or look to change. change. As a Liverpool fan, I'm not asking Jurgen Klopp to change his system, to change his philosophy that was giving us so much success as fans. However, I'm just saying, if Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold are going to be pushed so high, and even the centre-backs and Van Dijk and Matip, at least be cautious, at least be aware of the run in behind, because it just feels like they're not even having the body language to position themselves correctly to chase the ball in behind if someone like Bernardo Silva or Kevin De Bruyne launches it in. It just feels like they're always trying to push up, which may work in some instances, but with these world-class players which Manchester City have in their nature, obviously at times they're going to time their run to perfection and get in behind, and then from there it's going to be a one-on-one with Alisson. And I know Alisson's so trustworthy, but it's so unfair to keep asking him to dig us out of trouble like we did against Manchester City at the Etihad. Other key things which Liverpool can do as well is to get more control, more possession on the ball, because in the game against Manchester City at the Etihad, they felt like Liverpool had the jitters. They were so nervous. They were playing the occasion rather than the game. Their passes were so sloppy. We weren't really be able to build momentum in that first half. So that gave Manchester City so much joy to press us and win the ball in high areas and obviously provide those through balls with Liverpool's high line. If Liverpool can stamp their authority and get more control, more possession of the ball, it's naturally going to eliminate the amount of chances Manchester City will be able to create, which will harm Liverpool's back four with that high line. However, this is much easier said than done, because we know Manchester City is a world-class team filled with quality players who know how to keep the ball, retain possession, and for it to be very hard to knock them off the ball with players like Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva and Rodri. They're literally possession specialists. So going this game, it is easy for me as a casual fan to say this, but let's see if Liverpool will be able to stamp their authority in the game to eliminate the chances Manchester City will be able to create against Liverpool's back line. However, in my opinion, in the last two games we saw them face off, Manchester City were the superior side, especially in the last game in the Etihad. In the Anfield game was a much closer, but overall Manchester City were the better side. But I'm just saying, as a Liverpool fan, if Liverpool can somehow perform as good as Manchester City, which we all know they are very capable of doing, we all know Liverpool's front three are much more clinical strikers, more naturally gifted when it comes to being in front of goal compared to Manchester City's midfielders. And we've seen it. That's the reason why we've been able to get the 2 draws. The fact that Liverpool players don't really need that many chances. So if Liverpool can match Manchester City's intensity and play as well as them and create as many chances, I feel like Liverpool's players in the front line, I know Mohamed Salah hasn't been clinical lately, I haven't really been playing well in terms of in front of goal, but we all know we would rather trust these sort of players of Mane, Diaz, Firmino, rather than Manchester City's midfielders in the final third when it comes to crunch time. So going in this game, it's going to be very close. I'm not going to be underestimating Manchester City. But as a Liverpool fan, I feel like Jurgen Klopp is going to drill it in the players' heads saying, look, we have been outplayed both times we've played them and we really need to play better if we have any chance of beating them. The fact that we were able to escape with a point against Manchester City in the last game at Etihad, we were lucky. This won't happen again because Manchester City will not let this happen again because of their world-class players and with Pep Guardiola's consistent drive to greatness. So going in this game, I'm going to be predicting another classic matchup between these two sides. High scoring, entertaining game, end to end. Both teams trying to battle out for the stamp of authority of this game. And I'm going to go for a 3-2 victory for Liverpool. So the next game I'm going to be predicting is Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. And although it's not filled with world-class players like the other game between Liverpool and Manchester City, like I said in my introduction, at least this is going to be a London derby. They are very intense, fierce matchups. And especially that due to the fact that's in the FA Cup semi-finals, the expectations of this game is naturally going to rise, and I think it's going to deliver as well between these two sides. And it's not like Liverpool Manchester City where we predict it's going to be a very close game, because we know Chelsea are the European champions and they are the clear favourites going this game against Crystal Palace. But I just feel like Crystal Palace under Patrick Vieira have transformed their sides, transformed their fortunes, and have been playing a much more expensive brand of football compared to the days of Roy Hodgson, which has really entertained the fans of Crystal Palace. So let's see if they'll be able to upset Chelsea in this game. However, if I was a Crystal Palace fan, I will not be liking my chances in this game. The first reason being, from a bird's eye view, the last 9 games you've played against Chelsea, you have lost all 9 games. So it just feels like at this moment, Chelsea have the psychological advantage over you. It doesn't matter if they're in great form, it doesn't matter if they're in bad form. When the moment comes, Chelsea know how to seal the deal and beat you and beat you bad. Also, the second reason why I feel like Crystal Palace will not be happy going in this game is because Chelsea are coming off an emotional roller coaster in the game against Real Madrid when they were knocked out by Real Madrid by Benzema in extra time. The fact that the Chelsea fans, the Chelsea players have this hanging over their head, I feel like it's going to give them even more energy, even more determination, even more relentlessness in this game against Crystal Palace, that they need to get a trophy this season because this is their really only other opportunity of getting one. I know they won the World Club Cup and the Super Cup, but still, in terms of domestic football, this is Chelsea's last chance of winning the trophy because they are nowhere near the title race and they lost in embarrassing fashion in the Carabao Cup where Kepa skied that penalty. So all this emotion is going to be intensified and it's going to be focused in this game against Crystal Palace, where Crystal Palace may have to pay the price of this because Real Madrid have made Chelsea in such an angry fashion where they're going to want revenge against any team to get their hands on a trophy this season. And also, the final reason why I feel like the Crystal Palace fans will not be filled with optimism going into this game is the fact that their key player, their main talisman, Conor Gallagher, is not going to be playing because he is versing his parent club Chelsea, and we know when it comes to these sort of games you can't verse your parent club in the Premier League, FA Cup, Champions League. It's just not allowed. So Conor Gallagher is unfortunately going to be missing, and this is going to be a massive miss because we know his work rate, we know how much he works for that team. He leaves it all out on the pitch, the way he closes players down, the way he's been able to get back into the shape to ensure he can help his CDMs behind him. He has been absolutely brilliant, and we've seen it in key matchups against teams like Arsenal and Manchester City where Crystal Palace were able to get a win and a draw because of Conor Gallagher's great work rate running his socks off. So how are Crystal Palace going to be able to replace this? And not only his defensive spirit is great, the way he's been able to transition the ball from defense to attack, providing that glue, being the gel, being able to connect the dots between the defense and attack has been tremendous. So all these reasons are giving me thought to pause and thinking, how on earth are Crystal Palace going to win this game? However, it'll be interesting to see how Thomas Tuchel starts his team against Crystal Palace. It will just be interesting because in the last game against Real Madrid, he started with a back four with a player like Reece James to contain someone like Vinicius, who we know in 1-1 duels is very hard to stop because of his great intelligence and his great pace in behind to really hurt teams. We know Wilfried Zaha, which Crystal Palace have at their disposal, isn't of the ilk or the stature of Vinicius, who's been tremendous this season, but we know he shares some sort of the same attributes to target players 1v1 and isolate them. So if Thomas Tuchel goes back to a 3-4-3, which is naturally his favourite formation, someone like Christensen may be isolated, and Patrick Vieira may be thinking, if Vinicius can do it, why can't Wilfried Zaha do this against Christensen and really give him a horrid time? So it'll be interesting to see if Thomas Tuchel stays with a 4 at the back to ensure that the defensively they have that protection of Reece James, who has the pace and the strength to deal with someone like Wilfried Zaha. However, other than that, Crystal Palace have been playing well. In their last 5 games, they have been undefeated in 4, and in the Premier League so far, they have been great. But I'm just thinking, I don't know how they're going to win when they don't have their key player. Going in this game, Chelsea have been scoring goals for fun. Chelsea has scored 9 goals in their last 2 games. Timo Werner has been playing extraordinarily well, saying that he deserves to start at that number 9 position alongside Kai Havertz. So let's see if Thomas Tuchel will start the 2 together like he did against Real Madrid, which gave themselves a tremendous performance. Also, Mount scored a great goal against Real Madrid. Let's see if he starts. So I'm going to be predicting a straightforward victory for Chelsea, a 2-0 victory for them at Wembley in the semi-finals to advance to the final against Liverpool.